Okay, stubbornness and anxiety. Now, I'm not saying you are stubborn or I am stubborn or anyone with anxiety is stubborn, but anxiety itself is stubborn. Um, what happens is we first become diagnosed or we realize ourselves that we have anxiety, and then we start to get to know our symptoms of anxiety, and we start to see how these affect our daily lives, our relationships, our work, our personal well-being. And it's hard. And then over time you know will receive comments from others saying, silly things like, just stop worrying, or why are you worrying so much? Oh, you think too much, or it's not a big deal, or like, stop jumping to conclusions, that kind of thing. And we become angry and frustrated and don't feel like people understand us. And we do all of this work trying to heal our anxiety over the years, and we don't when we don't really understand how or what to do, or we don't understand like why we do certain things, and we want to stop worry, and the more we try to stop worrying, the more we worry. So in that way, we just feel really like anxiety is stubborn. It feels like it's stuck to us. And then, after all these years, in a sense, our subconscious, like, we give up on trying to heal our anxiety, and we just identify with it. It feels like it's a part of us, and it sucks and it's frustrating. Now, anxiety is stubborn, and if you think of it like an addiction, addictions are very hard to kick. Worrying is an addiction. We do it because somewhere along the way we've learned that we need to worry or else something bad will happen. We need to worry because it's solving problems. If we stop worrying, then we're not ready for possible scenarios that can happen. So we have this subconscious belief that if we stop worrying, we're gonna die, basically. So we keep doing it, and we also are addicted to thinking negatively, because we think that if we think positive, then something bad will happen. We're not preparing ourselves. So along this journey, we've sort of identified with anxiety, instead of seeing it separate from us. And seeing anxiety as a symptom and separate from us is so important. It's like being told that you can heal your anxiety after so many years of trying. We start to believe that that's not possible subconsciously. And when you're working with a coach or a therapist or a psychologist or whatnot, they may start to give you ideas and give you techniques on healing anxiety, and you're probably going to feel a real sense of like resistance. And like someone will say, okay, start practicing thinking this way, or start doing this, and you're going to feel this like, no, like, you don't know how hard this is. You don't know how hard it is to stop. You don't know, like, that's not possible. And you're going to feel this massive resistance, like you have to push a boulder up a hill. And I know that I felt that resistance, and people would try and change my mindset or way of thinking, and I would be like, no, like, that's not, like, it's not that easy. And I would become very stubborn. It wasn't me, it was my anxiety. It's stubborn. It's like a stubborn donkey. So as much as it's important to accept anxiety and understand that we have it, the next step is to make it separate from us and really be open-minded in the fact that we can heal. Because the biggest block to healing anxiety is in believing that we can't heal it. If we don't believe we can heal ourselves, then we won't heal ourselves. Think of medication as medication has helped a lot of people, and it really helps with those physical symptoms of anxiety, but a lot of medication is placebo, and that's scientifically proven, and that is because you take the medication and you go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be better now, and then your body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your brain senses that your body's relaxed and your brain starts to relax, and vice versa. So if you can put this placebo on, if you can create a placebo on your own and someone tells you start thinking this way and you can heal, well, you need to be open to that and open to learning these new techniques and open to learning these new behaviors, because changing any habit or addiction is so difficult. You're going to feel so much resistance, and it takes a lot of practice and repetition. It's just like you've learned to write right-handed, and someone tells you to start writing left-handed. It's going to take you a lot of practice to get there before that becomes natural. It's like you've learned to drive a standard car, and then suddenly someone tells you, oh, you've been doing it wrong this whole time. Well, it's going to take a lot of practice to start making new habits so that they're natural and you don't have to think about them anymore. And that's the same with changing ways of thinking and ways of seeing things, and trying to find a positive mindset, and trying to find space between worries, and eventually stop worrying so much and not allow those worries to come into your mind and not pay your thoughts attention. Like, that all takes time. But the first step is to go feel that resistance and notice, oh my gosh, I'm resisting this. I am not allowing myself to be open to change and to be open to healing. Step one is accepting that you have symptoms of anxiety. I'd rather you say you have symptoms of anxiety rather than saying you have an anxiety disorder. I think labels are incredible for science, and in terms of science and learning about symptoms, and we label things so we can learn more about them, but don't label yourself. See anxiety as a symptom of something greater, and see it as separate from you, and the core person that's underneath that anxiety is there and has always been there, and the core person inside of you isn't an anxious person. This is just a symptom on the outside. So see it that way and have so much faith that you can heal that. Be open to learning new ways of thinking. Be open to being tested on the way you think and on the way you operate in your daily life. Just continue having faith that you can grow and heal, and that is your next step to healing. So don't let that stubborn anxiety tell you otherwise. I hope this helps.